Peppa's Haunted Birthday Bash. Peppa Pig's birthday party was off to a fantastic start. The house was filled with balloons, streamers, and a giant cake with a creepy happy birthday message written in red icing. Peppa Pig, George Pig, Susie Sheep, and the rest of her friends were all gathered in the living room, waiting eagerly for the fun to begin. "This is going to be the best birthday party ever," Peppa squealed, her eyes full of excitement. Yeah, let's play pin the tail on the donkey," George shouted, jumping up and down. The moment Peppa blindfolded herself to start the game, the lights flashed off and on. Everyone froze. "What's going on?" Susie whispered as she squeezed George's hand tightly. Suddenly the lights went out completely. The room was in darkness, and this time the lights weren't coming back on. There was hardly a sound in the house as everyone stood still, terrified to move. Then a loud blood scream could be heard through the house. "What was that?" Peppa asked as she tried to stay brave. Before anyone could answer, a strong wind blew through the room, blowing out the candles on the cake. The floorboards creaked, and something slowly emerged from the corner of the room. It was a tall figure, and it moved like it was floating. Its eyes glowed a bright green. "I am the ghost of the haunted house," the figure said. "Your party is over, Peppa." Everyone at the party screamed out of fear, but just as quickly the ghost laughed. "Gotcha!" The figure threw back its hood, revealing Peppa's uncle dressed in a pirate costume. "Did I scare you?" he grinned. Peppa let out a nervous laugh. "Uncle, you scared us half to death." But Uncle's face turned serious. "All right, enough jokes. Let's turn this into a real haunted house party." The house still felt dark, like there was still some evil presence around. The air grew colder, and despite the ongoing party, there seemed to be silence in the room. Peppa Pig, George Pig, and their friends were still laughing, thinking it was just another prank. The Peppa Pig house party was in full swing when suddenly the lights flickered again and went out for a longer period of time. Peppa's uncle was now in his full pirate outfit. He signaled Peppa Pig and her friends to follow him. "Come on, everyone, let's have a treasure hunt." His voice sounded playful, but there was a strange tone to it. Not wanting to ruin the party, they all reluctantly followed, as Uncle led them deeper into the house. The rooms were now filled with strange sounds. They heard whispers, rattling chains, and other scary noises. It was like the house was a dungeon from a horror film. "Don't worry," Uncle reassured them, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. But the deeper they went, the less fun the party became. They reached the hallway, where a large old wooden door was. The door was slightly open, and Peppa Pig was secretly trying to peep inside. A dark, mysterious figure appeared behind the door, its shape barely visible in the dim light. "The first clue is hidden inside the old chest," Uncle said, pointing to the dusty, cobweb-covered chest in the corner of the room. Peppa hesitated. "Should we really go in there?" While still thinking about it, the door slammed shut behind them, trapping them in the room. Fear spread among the group, but Uncle just laughed. "Look, I know it's a little spooky, but I promise there's nothing to worry about. The treasure hunt will lead us out of here." As Peppa stepped forward to open the chest, the sound of scratching came from inside the box. She slowly opened the box. Inside was a strange, glowing egg. The egg glowed with a faint red light, and as Peppa reached out to touch it, the room became even colder. Without warning, the chest slammed shut on its own. The whispers started becoming louder, chanting Peppa's name, as a deep voice could be heard in the room they were in. "You found the egg, now face the consequences." Suddenly, the ghostly pirate reappeared, his face twisted in a dark grin. "The game is just beginning, Peppa Pig. I'm going to make sure you never leave this place. Your nightmare is forever." In the midst of the horror Peppa Pig faced, the egg she had found earlier began to crack. Inside, the egg revealed a small, horrifying creature. Peppa Pig tried to run away, but the room was now spinning. The room had become a swirling vortex of darkness. The ghostly pirate laughed as the bunny creature from inside the egg crawled toward Peppa. Just as the bunny reached Peppa, a bright light burst from the egg, and the creature disintegrated into dust. The vortex of darkness collapsed, and the walls returned to normal. Peppa, breathless and shaken, stared at her friends in disbelief. What just happened? Was that real? But as the room returned to normal, The eerie whispers started again. A shadow appeared in the corner of the room, and Peppa saw the ghostly pirates slowly fading. "Everything is real, Peppa Pig," the pirate whispered. "The curse has just begun." The lights flickered once again, and Peppa realized that the haunted house party wasn't just a game. Something far evil had been awakened, and it wasn't done with them yet. The days after the haunted party seemed to return to normal. Peppa Pig, George Pig, and their friends tried to forget the terrifying events, but the memories haunted them at night. Strange things began happening. Doors would slowly creep open on their own. Shadows would move, even when there was no one around, and there was a scary whisper that seemed to call Peppa Pig's name in the dark. One evening, Peppa was alone in the living room, staring at the place where the party had taken place. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. "Peppa," a voice whispered again. She was scared to her core. It was the voice of the ghostly pirate. "Did you think it was over? The curse is still here, waiting to claim you." Peppa looked around in a panic, but no one was there. At the height of her fear, she realized that the curse wasn't just a prank. Everything was real. This wasn't just a random horror-themed party. There was real evil in the house. And now it was after her. The pirate laughed in the most evil way, a laugh that could be heard throughout the darkness. This was just the beginning. The Peppa Pig haunted house party had awoken a force they could never escape. Subscribe to the channel for more scary Peppa Pig stories. Click the playlist to see more Peppa Pig Horror.